Global Expo. It's been a busy day already. Those of you who got up this morning and had breakfast with us, I think you had a phenomenal opportunity to see the Fierce Wireless Breakfast and our Spectrum policy issues. I hope you're planning to take advantage of the time here. It's a great city. It's a great place to see friends and enjoy the sights. I remind you to download our conference app to see the full agenda and list of speakers in the show, easy way to keep updated. And don't forget that we'll give out a cash prizes to the top app users on Friday. So we'll do first, second, and third place. And please remember to check in, use your app, and have a shot at winning some dollars. So I'd like to welcome also those of us who are joining us by webcast. We're being live cast currently right now with our broadcast partner, RCR Wireless. So welcome to you on the webcast. I would like to thank our Pinnacle sponsors. Without them, we would not be here. Alcatel-Lucent, Brightstar eSecuritel, Ericsson, Huawei, Interop Technologies, Sprint, and TNS. Their support and help makes this all possible, and so thank you to all our sponsors. This afternoon, I'm pleased to welcome two exceptional keynote speakers, and joining us from the Coca-Cola Company is Tom Daly, who serves as the Global Group Director of Mobile. Tom has been with Coca-Cola since 2005, and in his role, he's responsible for leading the company's mobile marketing strategy. And his approach is really informed by time in the advertising world, as well as a client-side experience with notable brands such as UPS and ING. And I just found out that Tom said his parents were in the bottling industry long before he turned to Coca-Cola, so he has a long history in this subject matter. So Tom is here today with us to share some things about Coca-Cola, what Coca-Cola is doing in the mobile world, and how they are connecting to consumers, both globally and locally. So ladies and gentlemen, let me turn it over to Tom Daly. Let's hear a round of applause for Tom.
Want that ice cold Coke? What's stopping you? What's standing between it and your desire for the pause that refreshes? The real thing. From opening happiness. Chances are it's a mobile phone, maybe even the one you use to watch this video. It's just there at the end of your arm between reach and desire. Ask yourself, are you using it as an enabler of or barrier to desire? We will make mobile an enabler of desire. Today, people around the world will power up over 7 billion SIM cards to run the phones they'll carry throughout the day. Compare that to 1.9 billion servings of the Coca-Cola Company's brands. That's a lot of people with a phone currently in hand, but no Coke. Granted, not everyone on the planet has a phone, but the bottom line is there are a lot more people holding a phone than there are holding a Coke. So here's what we're going to do about it. We're going to use those mobile phones to put more Cokes into more hands. Mobile connections are forecasted to grow over 7 times by 2020. All those connections will make mobile a sixth sense, converting the analog world around us into digital signals distributed, interpreted, and shared across mobile networks. We won't want to be without it. In fact, a recent survey revealed that U.S. consumers spend more time on their smartphones than watching TV. The same is true in the Philippines, Brazil, and Vietnam. The gap will only get bigger, and the pattern will be repeated. Meet the new boss. Mobile isn't just about consumer engagement, it's about shoppers as well. The line between consumer marketing and shopper marketing is being erased. People can use their phones to buy almost anything in any place. Domino's currently generates close to half of all digital sales via a mobile device. All our largest food service customers are piloting mobile point-of-sale payments. And this isn't just about smartphones and people with bank accounts and credit cards. Mobile carriers are figuring out ways to provide mobile payments to the 1 billion people with a phone and no bank account. The inevitable future is one where people buy Cokes with their mobile phones. Winning at the point of sale means winning with mobile. The mobile influence goes beyond marketing. It impacts every aspect of the system. Mobile technology is impacting route optimization, product mix, merchandising, out of stock, and data acquisition. Everything. The real trick of mobile is to connect the power of our system's network to the power of mobile networks. Networks create increased value by adding connections. 2 phones make 1 connection. 5 phones make 10 connections. 12 make 66. And so it goes. Imagine all our cold drink equipment connected using iBeacons, or connecting each of our 25 million customers' locations through billions of packages to all of the teens on the planet. Putting mobile first isn't fitting a responsive desktop design into a mobile screen. It isn't even a project. It's about making mobile an irrevocable and indispensable part of our business. About connecting our stories to everybody and the world around them, wherever they may be on every occasion, by enabling desire and the instant before. It's about allowing mobile to do what it does best, which is the same thing we do best: connecting people.
There we go. What is Coca-Cola doing in a forum like this? I hope that video helped introduce why this is such an important opportunity and welcomed opportunity for me to share with you the power that we see in the work that you do. And like you, it's worth pointing out that while that may sound like a lofty ambition, a big global organization, there isn't a place where each of you do business where we don't do business also, right? So when I read that line that was on the slide at the beginning of the session, as everybody was settling in about thinking locally and connecting globally, that is the Coca-Cola company. That is exactly what we do. So this idea of mobile becoming sixth sense and using the phone in one hand to put a Coca-Cola in another by detecting the instant before desire is really a modernization and an updating of a mobile strategy that I say was first articulated in the 1920s when Robert Woodruff, our founder, described the role of the Coca-Cola company as putting our brands within arm's reach of desire. And the only thing that is different 95 years later is that at the end of that arm, between it and desire, is a mobile device. So the fundamental choice that we face is whether or not we want mobile to be a barrier to or an enabler of desire. And clearly, we choose to make mobile an enabler. And we're doing pretty well, right? I would say that with some humility. We're doing well. We have established models based on activities from around the world, including here in the United States, Canada, Mexico, every place where we see examples of consumer marketing really having a positive impact on consumers' interactions with our brands and the business metrics we care about, whether they have to do with creating brand love, right? A reason for people to believe in and be inspired by our brands, or harder sales metrics, things of that nature. On the bottler side, we see evidence of mobile technology being able to help in all of the things that you heard in that video: route optimization, managing out of stocks, right? Merchandising coolers. Here's the world's best use case for augmented reality. We have a capability in Britain for drivers and people who are merchandisers, so in our business, bringing Coca-Colas into our customer locations, holding up a tablet with an AR browser, and understanding the presentation of brands in that cooler against what we know to be the optimal look of success. We have enough science to know whether or not, how to produce the most revenue for our customers by stocking a cooler. It makes a difference whether the Coca-Colas are stocked vertically near the handle or horizontally close to the top, right? And that's a lot of training that's involved with drivers. So by using an AR browser, we're able to kind of show people, this is how the cooler should be configured to maximize revenue. We've seen at a shopper marketing level the ability to put more Coca-Cola brands into the basket. We know of all the things that mobile marketing could do: gamification, precision pricing, list making are really the most important things to have a positive impact. And then on the enterprise side, bring your own device strategies that allow associates of the Coca-Cola company across the entire system, which, by the way, depending on how you count, could be as many as 700,000 people. Coca-Cola being the largest employer, for example, on the continent of Africa, right? So leveraging mobile technology, bringing it into the business, and allowing this capability to enhance what we do is critically important. but we can do more. In the spirit of constructive discontent, we know that there is more than we can do. You all recognize this symbol. I have adopted it as a measure of where we are. I could have this conversation internally, and people may say, oh, Tom, you're being too hard. All these good things that we've done, Mobile Marketer of the Year, real cost savings. We've learned how to start selling Coca-Colas using phones. We're better than 1 out of 5 bars. All right, let's agree it's 2. We're 2 out of 5. All right? We are not at 5 out of 5. Right? What we need to do to become 5 out of 5 bars and really deliver on the full potential, right, is make an irrevocable and indispensable connection between our business and mobile. We need to convert the world's most ubiquitous consumer behavior, which is using their mobile device, with the world's most ubiquitous and, I would argue, most beloved brand. The power of these two networks coming together. So we do have an opportunity to set a course, and you heard some of this language in the video that opened this session up. What we want to do is connect our stories to everybody and the world around them, wherever they may be, on every occasion, by enabling desire and the instant before, while making the world a little bit better for it. Now that sounds like lofty language. I probably have 2 strikes against me in this room. 1, I'm an ad guy or a reformed advertising guy. All right, and I'm a marketing guy. This doesn't sound very pragmatic. What I'm going to do for the next few minutes is show you the real work that we have done to start putting some substance behind these ideas. And my hope is that as you see the work we are doing and become aware of the things that are of interest to us, you begin to think about how you do in the local communities that you serve, where again, we have presence as well, can be stitched together to create that network effect. So let's begin with connecting our stories to everyone, right? Which is in part a mobile advertising story. The Coca-Cola company and me personally have been involved with the Mobile Marketing Association for about 8 years, when the MMA was primarily a carrier organization thinking about messaging standards, SMS protocols, provisioning, approvals, and all that things. It has evolved to a more marketing-driven organization. We have worked with them to field research to understand the real impact that mobile advertising and investments in mobile marketing can have on our business. We are doing this in China as we speak. This research is in the field. We will do this in Turkey. We will do this in London. We will do this in Brazil. And we have finished this work in the United States and with the MMA and other participating partners, notably AT&T, Walmart, and MasterCard, have published results for everybody to see how this money can be put to good use. We focused on Gold Peak tea, right? So everybody thinks about Big Red Coca-Cola. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to get things done with some of the and any brand that is not Coke, right? So Gold Peak Tea had the right campaign characteristics. We wanted to measure the value of that dollar first and foremost. Did it drive sales? Then we wanted to understand, well, could it drive aided brand awareness? Would more people know about our brand of brewed tea, packaged brewed tea, versus alternatives that are out there in the marketplace? And thirdly, we wanted to understand if we were able to communicate brand attributes to help people understand what these brands stood for. Well, it wasn't well understood before, but what I can tell you today unequivocally is that we have a factual basis to quantify the positive value of mobile advertising in driving sales. I'm going to distill a lot of research into one slide here, all right? So if we were to take a look at the total number of people converted, right? Top of mind awareness, those who did not see the mobile optimized portion of the campaign. We ran sort of 2 flavors of the campaign concurrently. One that was as planned with some mobile, but not kind of optimized. We didn't play with the variables. And then another version of the campaign that started to introduce and experiment with the optimal level of mobile investment, the optimal amount of mobile impressions. We discovered that we could increase by almost 5 times, right, the top-of-mind awareness. If we wanted to take a look at those brand attributes, you could see a positive impact there. If you wanted to understand the impact on sales, mobile advertising, over-delivering versus its allocation in the budget, right? So the real impact, right, for us was this clear and undeniable link between dollars spent and return on investment. Same budget, better results by putting those dollars into mobile. But not just any mobile, right? Smarter mobile, right? Really taking advantage of some of what mobile devices can do, some of it uniquely, the native capabilities of a mobile device, particularly a smartphone, right? Using mobile video, which is not putting your television commercial into a mobile browser, right? Smarter creative that understands the limitations and advantages of a mobile context. And then the thing that really differentiates mobile from the other opportunities that we might have is location, taking advantage of the location-aware capabilities of a mobile device. Those four things are really the area of focus. It's about turning proximity into access. One thing that is unique about Coca-Cola is that it is everywhere you are. And what we need to try to figure out is how we can use that proximity, right, to create access to the content and stories that we need to tell to drive our business. In the lower left-hand corner there, you see the picture, a picture of the world of Coca-Cola, which is just a few short blocks away from here. It was our first experiment within the system using beacons, right? It's a controlled environment, an owned environment. We can do this in a very controlled way. So we figured out how to deploy those beacons to bring experiences to life that couldn't fit in the physical spaces that we had. There are physical constraints within the world of Coca-Cola. There's only so much stuff we can put in that display, right? But to bring more value, tell a richer story, we use beacons to trigger content on an app that could help bring more dimension to what we were doing. That gave us confidence on some of the operational details for deploying beacons and how they would interact with a consumer's mobile device. So continuing clockwise, that's a heat map of a customer of Coca-Cola's, a theme park, right? Where we work with that customer to deploy beacons across their territory, right? Within the confines of the park. That's a heat map. You can start seeing where there are concentrations of consumers creating real opportunities for both Coca-Cola and the customer to create a more positive experience. High concentrations of people may signal an opportunity to send associates of the customers there to redirect people. Long line here, shorter line someplace else. Can we help make sure that you take advantage of everything we have? Bring some entertainment to bear. Bring more Coca-Cola coolers. Move them from places that are a lighter green or a yellow and start creating more distribution opportunities where there are higher concentrations of people. Customers' app, Coca-Cola's beacon, an SDK in the app that helps produce this heat map. Continuing around is a map of the Midtown Atlanta area. If you're from Atlanta, you know where that is, just a little bit north of us. If you're not, it's just a little bit north of us, right? It's a geographic sort of quasi, there's a community group, the Midtown Alliance, whose mandate is to improve the quality of life in Midtown Atlanta. They work with the city to make sure that there's lighting, sidewalks, safety, traffic lights, and the like. They help merchants grow their business and residents get what they need. Those circles represent pedestrian traffic, so we can see where there are high concentrations of people during specific hours. That gave us insights into how to evolve beacons from a very closed, controlled, owned environment to a shared environment with this customer partner of ours, and then into the wild. I'm going to show you a video that describes some work that was done here with the Midtown Alliance, all of this with Coca-Cola, and the greater Atlanta mobile community.
Coca-Cola and Midtown Alliance are piloting a proximity-based mobile marketing experiment called Midtown Red. Midtown Red is a mobile application that gives Midtown Alliance partners the opportunity to connect with consumers in real time. So, how does it work? As people move through Midtown and Atlantic Station, the app will send them notifications about offers and specials, like a guest chef night at Empire State South or a coupon for Moda. Offers can be downloaded into a user's passbook or shared out to their friends. So, how do you create an offer? With the easy-to-use interface, you can set the quantity, location, and expiration dates for as many offers as you'd like. Midtown Red is designed for offers like a certain % off, buy one get one, or free items, and specials like an item of the day at a boutique or a Daly restaurant special. Midtown Red works in real time, so you can respond to weather changes and local events like concerts and festivals. There's even an abort button that allows you to stop all offers so you can manage any increase in foot traffic. As a participating merchant, you'll receive easy-to-understand analytics about which sorts of deals are the most successful at engaging your consumers. You'll be able to experiment dynamically on how to boost your business at no cost to you. Getting started is as simple as sending your email address to signup@midtownred.com and getting an email confirming your account information. Midtown Red is the perfect solution for the walkable community we've built together. Coca-Cola and Midtown Alliance are excited to bring this real-time mobile marketing experiment to help drive economic growth for Midtown.
So there you start seeing this expansion and evolution of the ideas from a very consumer-facing mobile advertising, perhaps what you would expect to come from Coca-Cola, to something that starts feeling a little bit more commercially oriented, working with our customer partners, the delicatessens, the restaurants, the movie theaters, the grocery stores here in Midtown, bringing together and playing a role in brokering business opportunities between consumers who drink our brands and customers who sell our brands. If we're going to do all this, regardless of how the connection is made, we really have to understand how to respond to those occasions. This is a little bit of a missive on responsive design. I don't know if anybody in this room really cares about responsive design, but to me, this is, I think, a little bit of a red herring. A lot of people talk about talk about responsive design as a way to make sure that content can display on a mobile device and all the things, whether it's for a customer or consumer or our internal enterprise operations. That's not enough, right? This great quote from a fellow who says much more eloquently what I have believed for some time: responsive design effectively ignores the context of the mobile user. End stop. All it does is say this is a particular kind of hardware, right? And a certain size screen. It does nothing to recognize native capabilities, location, all those sorts of things, or not obviously to most people. So whatever people want to create, whatever counsel you would give to people that you are trying to work with about how to connect with consumers and the content, right? Responsive is mobile also, which is good, better than mobile not, but it's not mobile first. All at the end of this is that we have to create experiences, right, that have the ability to transact. So you started to see, again, the continuum the story that I'm trying to tell. We understand now about mobile advertising. We've been able to run some tests and pilots, not just in Atlanta, but in Spain and in other markets, about how to use beacon and location technology to broker relationships. This, just 2 weeks ago, Tim Cook, talking about the evolution of Apple Pay, was talking about 700,000 places that accept Apple Pay on stage with Tim Cook, was recognition of the fact that Coca-Cola have, of that 700,000, somewhere between 30 and 40,000 places that accept payments. It's in our vending fleet. By the end of the year, we have committed to 100,000 places where consumers can use their iOS devices, and we can make assumptions about the direction that Google will take what was SoftCard, right, in this fleet of NFC-enabled vending machines, removing frictions, removing the barrier for the consumer, right, at that moment of desire. We've all had the experience where we've wanted an ice cold Coke, walking around with our families, right, and I don't have change, or just tap the phone, and it goes, and it happens. But to complete the vision, right, we have to make sure that what we do makes a difference in the world, right? Helping connect the emerging billion. So here is a program called Eco Center. These are shipping containers that have been reconfigured to become community centers that can be dropped literally any place. The first one that we have, and as a community center, provide valuable and otherwise inaccessible services to these communities. Refrigeration, not to keep the Cokes cold, to keep the vaccines cold. Because there's no way for medicines to be delivered and kept effective in these communities, right? TV, not to watch Coke commercials, but to deliver educational content and to help youth in these communities and adults in these communities attain the level of literacy that they need in order to prosper. Working with our partners in this initiative, Ericsson, delivering a managed rural connectivity solution. These centers happen to be in Rwanda, and I mean a long way from anywhere in Rwanda. So we drop the center. A female entrepreneur buys it. This isn't a donation. We will help subsidize the cost, but this is a business investment that we make possible for a female entrepreneur, because in this part of the world, that's the person in the family who's going to be driving the economic stability of the family and provide these core services built on the back of mobile connectivity. So big ambitions, right? Connecting our stories to everybody, but the real action is we have started to bring fact-based decisions to how we invest our marketing dollars. We talked about, the world around them, but that's really extending the value of packaging and being able to, maybe we didn't talk too much about that, but maybe use a 2D code or some sort of image recognition. There are a lot of Coca-Cola packages out there in the world at any given point in time, right? And our ability to use that as a way to connect to people or serve some operational purpose is enormous. Wherever they may be, we talked about proximity and access. On every occasion, we talked about how to really get to and think about truly mobile-first experiences. Enabling desire and instant before. Here, we see real momentum, removing the friction of cash, the barriers that cash, the war, responding to the war that is taking place on cash today, right? And securing pretty strong positions in that space. Then, of course, the things that we can do to support the emerging billion and make the world a little bit better. So the future is amazing, right? But it is still the future. I think about 890 megabits per month on average for a subscriber on a 3G connection. If I can get 10% of that, I've got 82 meg to make a connection in a month. Right? So no matter what I think about my television commercials or streaming music or this, that, and the other, I have to find a way to be respectful of that subscriber's data and earn my place in that 819 megabytes. Whether it's social sharing, posting photos, sharing photos, texting, watching videos, playing games, downloading an app, there's only a limited number that I can do. On a 4G connection, you all know well, it gets up to about 2 gig. Then the issue is different. How in the world do I get my few megabytes of content to stand out in an ocean of data, right? What can I do there? The Internet of Things, a lot of talk. We are all fascinated by the Internet of Things. As a company who have about 15 million pieces of cold drink equipment out in the world and about 20 million customer locations around the world, we are interested in connecting things, but not just things, but people. Right? So this is not my idea. I thought this was a great line that I read. I wish I could remember where I read it so they could get full credit. It's not the Internet of Things, it's the Internet of People. It's how we bring the things around the people, right, to make the lives of people better. I think that's a loftier idea, and I think that's a more inspirational place to play. And then, everybody wants to talk about self-driving cars. Let's talk about network latency in a self-driving car. Probably not the right experience, right, to see buffering on your dashboard while you're driving your car, right? So 5G, what do we want to do? Where do these things go, right? And what kind of world do they make possible? So if we can solve all those things, then I think we get to 5 bars. I think we get to a really strong, committed position with all of this technology, the things that each of you do every day to bring to your communities, helps not just the people in those communities, but the businesses in those communities, certainly including the business of the Coca-Cola Company. And for that, I will thank you for what you have done today, for the attention you've given me, and for what I hope we can do together tomorrow. Thank you.